Well, we are just living in crazy times, but I do want to take both my hands and put them together like this. It's called a round of applause, and give that to WWE for going out there and putting on a show in whatever guise you want to call it to entertain us and to distract us from said madness that we've already discussed. On that note, I hope everyone's doing all right. I hope everybody is doing okay. We will get through this together, and seemingly we'll be able to do that with professional wrestling. But yes, it was SmackDown coming from the Performance Centre with absolutely no fans, which I don't think I've ever seen in my life, aside from the odd gimmick match here and there. So there's only one thing to do. We do what we always do. That's the other good thing about WWE, continuing to plough on forward. Again, they shouldn't do it at the risk of anybody's health. But I mean, as they are doing it right now, you can be distracted there, and then you can come see me, the bald asshole, and I will try and distract you too. But let's do it. Take the finger of power and up those downs. Right, so it was kind of awkward when we first started watching SmackDown, obviously because there was no crowd, so I thought I need to replicate that on ups and downs, and the only way I could come up with that was by sitting down. But it's weird, isn't it? You're so used to me standing up and waving my hands around like a crazy person and wearing really super tight t-shirts. Now I'm sat down. It's like, why the hell has he sat down? But I've just explained that. You need to listen. But look, this episode did begin with Triple H just stood in the Performance Centre with a microphone explaining everything that had gone on. And I saw some dudes on Twitter going, well, that's ridiculous. He didn't need to explain it. Of course he did. If you're a casual fan and you had no idea that SmackDown had been moved, and all of a sudden they are in an empty HQ with the game talking to you, would have been baffled. Think about things. It'd be like the zombie apocalypse had happened and nobody had mentioned it. Triple H then did join Michael Khan on commentary, and I just want to say he was brilliant throughout. I mean, clearly WWE threw a curveball in here too, because he was only meant to be there for one segment. Then in segment 3 he came back, and that was 100% the right move to do, because again, Triple H was awesome, and really he should be the guest commentator as long as we have to produce shows from the Performance Centre. He gets 2 thumbs up and he gets a normal up. No, it's too weird, it's too strange, it's freaking me out in my head. I'm more like, oh, zombies coming to get me. Let's stand back up. And as well as the up we just gave, let's give another up to Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nikki Cross, and Alexa Bliss. Up. And I died at the start of this because Bayley asked for a microphone. And I get it, it's far easier to address the television audience if you are doing that, but she literally could have just shouted and we all would have been able to hear her just fine. But I guess old habits die hard. We did do this tag match though, and it was just so weird because for what, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, however old you are, you were used to tuning into wrestling and having a crowd just shout stuff. I mean, sometimes they spend the whole match going, what, and you still just accept it for what it is. But here, there was nothing, it was eerie. It was kind of like when you watch a show without a laugh track, although usually when we do that with shows, it's actually better without a laugh track. WWE even shot this differently, I would presume, to cover up little things that you don't notice when you do have the noise of an audience. And as much as a wrestling geek and a wrestling nerd as this makes me sound, I was just massively proud of this. I mean, they must have felt a little bit uncomfortable. They must have been a little bit worried. I'm sure their confidence had taken a hit, but all 4 of these women absolutely smashed it. Like I say, it was more than decent. Halfway through, Triple H started to do Vince McMahon impressions, and then, who would have thought this would happen? On an empty arena, an empty Performance Centre episode of SmackDown, something occurred that is the best thing, no hyperbole, I'm not exaggerating, the best thing that has ever happened since 1412. I don't know what happened before 1412, but I guess something good happened. And why? Because Asuka arrived on SmackDown. Presumably because before this match had begun, Alexa Bliss had insulted her, but she did indeed attack Alexa, and you know what she did? She danced her way back up the aisle. It was just brilliant. The fact she did this with no crowd made it even better. I think Asuka is the greatest person in the world. As I said on my own Twitter, she deserves all the titles. She gave me a little retweet for that. So a salute to you, Asuka. So if she doesn't just get it up, let's bring it back again. This hasn't been around for about 3 millennia. She is getting the damn Oscar up. She's so good, gets her own up. Anyways, that caused the distraction, which makes even less sense in this environment. And Sasha Banks was able to lock on the bank statement to Nikki Cross, who tapped out. Also need to note that at one point Nikki tried to G up the crowd. Obviously the crowd wasn't there, and Triple H said the reason that Asuka was able to sneak up to Alexa Bliss was because she came through the audience and nobody saw her. This was just one big troll. This was just a bunch of people having fun. And do you know who else had fun? That's right, it's me. Roman Reigns then potentially cut the best promo he's ever done. No joke, real talk. Up. I really hope this serves as a reminder to WWE, because clearly Roman was told, look, Michael Cole is going to sit with you in the ring, take a microphone, and because there are no fans, I'm going to say that throughout this show for obvious reason, but because there are no fans, just talk honestly and just talk from the heart. And he did do that, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, shock, horror, the big dog sounded like a real nice, honest dude that you would want to get behind. And given that we have arrived at this juncture, we got to do it. Roll. Hello, my name is Simon Miller and welcome to the first ever episode of Yes, People Do Talk Like That. I can't really do anything else with this, but Roman Reigns spoke like an actual human being, and therefore I can relate to him as a human being. That's it. That's the end. His whole point was that while he does respect Goldberg, if he is the guy who was main eventing the little shows, why shouldn't he be the guy to also main event the big ones? He also addressed the criticism that he had just walked into the WrestleMania main event. And to be fair, Roman, that is like a decent criticism, because you did just walk up to Billy Boy Blue and say, hey, let's have a fight. And Goldberg went, hey, that's how Goldberg talks. Whatever, I don't care. Again, you came across great. Said he was going to walk away from WrestleMania, if it happens, as the Universal Champion, and this is as real as Roman Reigns gets. It is family. We had some shenanigans backstage next, whatever that means in this environment, where Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro crashed an interview before being told, no, you're not meant to be in this. You got bumped, but they didn't care because they're just so happy that Sami is now the Intercontinental Champion. They were then interviewing the returning Jeff Hardy, who's going to have a match later. He fell out with Baron Corbin. That turns out to be the fight we're getting. And then Elias also arrived and went, ha ha ha, Baron Corbin, you suck. So I guess that will 100% be the WrestleMania match. Daniel Bryan's quest to then work with everybody that the fans would like him to actually work continued then, because he caught up with Drew Gulak and he said, Drew, please, before you run away all mad, you were so good at the pay-per-view, you were reversing all my moves. Why don't we get together so you can make me an even better wrestler? And Drew was just over the moon with this. It was like Daniel Bryan had given him his last Rolo. Unfortunately, he was then also interrupted, which was another theme of tonight's episode, by Sami Zayn, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. And the long and the short of it is, later on, in front of no fans, to dead silence, we are going to get Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. So aspiring wrestlers, take note. This is like a training video that you can watch and study between two guys who are absolutely excellent. And we will get there. WWE then aired the SmackDown Tag Team Elimination Chamber match from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and I totally get it. And if you hadn't actually seen that show, you got a right kick out of this because it was an absolutely brilliant fight. But I had seen it, so I got up and had a protein shake and went to relieve myself because I'm a human being, and when I drink water, I also need to wee it out. And you can't criticize anything WWE did do on this show, because what the hell were they meant to do? This was like pulling a rabbit out of the hat, and I thought they just did such a good job all around. But on a personal note, I am going to get it down, but then I'm going to put like a little cross through it, because while it gets it down here, it does not count on the record books. Just a little thing that I thought when I was watching it. Again, I didn't watch it, so I can't stand here and give it an up. I couldn't give two hoots. And to be fair, it did finish with The Miz and John Morrison in the empty arena, and somehow they worked not a crowd. That's not even proper sentence, that's not even proper grammar. But they were saying things like, make some noise if we're not the best champions, and obviously no one made noise. They were just superb here, they were brilliant. Let's have them be tag team champions until, I don't know, we have flying cars. If you didn't think things could get more daft either, we did have the entrance of Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. And while Drew came out doing all the yes hands, Daniel Bryan wasn't. But Drew turned to Daniel and was like, come on, man, I want you to do it. I mean, Daniel Bryan looked as reluctant as when Brie Bella goes up to him and says, Daniel, you gotta take the bins out. But he did start doing it, and again, it was just so goofy. And I sat there with a massive smile on my face. In fact, I enjoyed that and the Miz and Morrison stuff beforehand so much. Give it his own up. With all that said, there are some things I just can't handle, because here, WWE did start talking about the fact that they signed Rob Gronkowski, the former NFL player, and who was on SmackDown to hype this up? The Raw superstar, Mojo Rawley. Down. For starters, he never told us what happened with all the 24/7 title stuff, and I had my own mother on watch 24 hours because I was so worried that Mojo Rawley was going to turn up at her house like he had said. And two, as I just mentioned, he's a Raw superstar. I don't care about empty arena shows, I don't care about nothing. Do not muck around with the wild card. Long-time viewers will understand I can't handle the wild card because I am just a massive loser. still. And yeah, these two are friends, so it stands to reason they would push them together. And there were still brilliant bits here, because at one point Triple H just had the camera, he was pointing it in Michael Cole's face, and then when Mojo Rawley went crazy afterwards, shouting, get hype, Triple H joined in and he was ruffling Michael Cole's hair. Genuinely, it was brilliant. If you don't plan to watch this SmackDown and you're a wrestling fan, you're absolutely crazy. It was then Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, and as I hinted at earlier, it was just awesome. It was like they had gone to the Performance Centre and just wanted to jostle around a little bit, but somebody had turned the camera on and nobody realised, and we all got to see it. Sami Zayn was on commentary being an absolute knob, and it really doesn't matter. They could have a fight on planet Earth, they could go to planet Zog, they could fight in a forest, they could fight in a different universe. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro are just two great wrestlers. They just are. Hilariously, it did end with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, a surprise roll-up or a surprise cradle in this instance. And as I bring my counter down, I think that's 15, but I can't keep count of it. There's too many, which is why I didn't want to start this damn thing to begin with. But they get a free pass because of the circumstances they found themselves in, and again, just kick so much ass. Zayn and crew jumped Bryan afterwards and started to beat him down, and Drew Gulak tried to make the save, but he was beaten up as well. And Daniel Bryan just dived on Shinsuke Nakamura to make a save of his own. And I guess the program here is about to develop. I'll take that. Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn for the IC Championship. Ticks my box. And on that note, Jeff Hardy versus Baron Corbin was fine too. I'm sure this is how Jeff envisioned his big comeback to World Wrestling Entertainment. But again, we're just throwing everything out the window for this show. Elias was on commentary and he started playing his guitar to distract the king. That meant he did get Twister Fated, or apparently it's now called the Twister Fury, and got Swanton Bombed. And again, that poor man's ribs, they must have exploded. And it was just a match on SmackDown. As I keep on saying, it was just oogly boogly. Giving it up. Although I do want to point out that this was the second distraction finish on this show, which was even more crazy given what the show was, but I'll come up with the reason why.
Are you an annoyed wrestler hanging out backstage, kind of livid about what another wrestler said about you? Well, don't worry, because Bandai has the new product for you. Introducing the Distraction Finish. Even though you were livid at the time these words were said, the Distraction Finish allows you to wait 10 to 15 minutes later when you do appear by ringside and cause a distraction. It will mean that the person you hate loses and you can leave with a smile on your face knowing that you got the better of them this week. The Distraction Finish, new from Bandai at the low price of $1,299. Order today.
But whatever, again, I just want to make it clear I don't care, and now I'm 100% saying that if WrestleMania 36 does happen, it is going to be Elias versus Baron Corbin. Right, legit, no joke. 99.7% of the time, so most of the time, we do need fans at WWE events. But there was something magical to be taken away from certain segments that WWE had planned, and that happened in the last one when John Cena confronted Bray Wyatt. I mean, this was like going to the Globe and watching Shakespeare, and that ain't even a joke, it's getting it up. It was the same setup as Roman Reigns' promo from earlier, but John Cena was absolutely livid and he was on fire because he said the reason Bray Wyatt got so despondent and down after he had beaten him at WrestleMania 30 is because he got lazy. He is no longer the future. He's had too many chances, and now we shouldn't be focused on this tub of goo. We should be focused on the likes of Matt Riddle, Tommaso Ciampa, Rhea Ripley, and even Velveteen Dream, because they are the future of WWE, and that's why John Cena is going to accept Bray Wyatt's challenge. He's going to take him out at WrestleMania 36 and finally put him to bed for good and kiss him on the head and say goodnight. This is where Wyatt heard enough and he came down as the Firefly Funhouse version of himself, which was actually a very good idea, because I think the Fiend in this world would have just been very, very confusing, but he was so intense with everything he said, I bought into each and every word, and by the end of it, I was like, damn it, Bray Wyatt, I will come and have your babies. I didn't think that, I was just very impressed. He agreed that it was WrestleMania 30 when his downward spiral happened, and that it broke him as a man, but the only way he was able to rebuild himself was because of the Fiend and because of the Firefly Funhouse. He looked at John Cena and simply said, let me in, John. Let me in. Go watch this. Seriously, no word of a lie. Go watch this. It was really like two actors at the top of their game, and it wouldn't have been better if you had had some idiot in our car, red John Cena hat in the crowd going, you suck, John Cena. I think you really suck. You want to talk too many times. Which makes no sense, because why is he insulting John Cena wearing John Cena merchandise? But again, top stuff, top stuff all around, and top stuff from WWE. I appreciate them with providing me with a distraction, because every time you turn on the news show, just like, the zombies are coming, run away from the zombies. There's my spinning arrow. It gets a very special up. It gets a very special up. I loved it. It sounds like Raw's going to come from the Performance Centre too, and we can do different things here. Like on the internet, everyone's going, I feel like they should have put WWE superstars in the crowd. Well, you can do that for Raw. Or you can come up with another idea. This may be going on for a while, so let's stagger it and let's just take our time. We started with a round of applause. Let's end with a round of applause. We're all so quick to crap on WWE, but today we take that crap, we turn it into a nice gold nugget, and we give it to them, and we just say, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of WWE Smackdown. There'll be one guy that goes, I didn't like it. I thought it was rubbish. Go away. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, then head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here. Where? WhatCulture Wrestling. Regretted that. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Again, I just want to send out thoughts and well wishes to everybody. We're going to be all right. Let's stay calm and let's try and be there for each other. Human nature, human kindness. I'll see you soon.